Welcome back, everybody. We've got episode 23 of an LPL English podcast. It's Alk and Quax here for what is going to be the penultimate week of the regular season. We had some fun upsets. We had a lot of really fast games going in through this week. Quax, just want to ask, how are you doing, brother? How are you feeling?
Feeling a lot better. Thank you, Alk, for filling in for me. I was a little bit disappointed that I couldn't catch the Thunder Talk AL series, but Thunder Talk won a game, right? I mean, I don't think that was like the expectation going into the best of three. There have been a lot of unexpected results, I think, especially over the past couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Cool. For the folks who may have missed it, really quickly, producer Ilya, if you could throw us to our standings. For some reason, if you've missed out on the show, again, it's a full week, but we've got a lot of cool games that have already kind of gone down. Honestly, the top three haven't shifted all that much outside of BLG and AL contesting 1 and 2. BLG technically are first because they have the head-to-head, but again, doesn't really matter. But we did have some locks, and we'll talk about them going on later. This 5, 6, 7 group is so fun to see, especially with how close they are. And they're also in sequential order, even going all the way up to fourth place.
Right, and I mean, for me, the big question mark is going to be WE and JDG. I think the team going in as like the fourth place is my biggest question mark, because I feel like JDG have been obviously they made it into first stand for split number 1 and have been like really up and down since then, but I don't think people have envisioned them dropping below fourth throughout the entire year, and I feel like that still kind of holds true now. On the other hand, WE obviously had like an awful split too, and like to see that rise is something that I think would be like them getting fourth. I think would be super monumental after what was such an awful like middle chunk of the year.
Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about play-ins in the segment after this, but I just wanted to touch on the fact that we did kind of lock up Group Nirvana. There's two spots. The last two spots are basically going to be in seeding order, and we'll actually see Ninjas and Pajamas against IG later this week. But Weibo LNG. LNG won their first game. We had a segment literally on the pod, and 3 days later they decide to win a game versus Ninjas and Pajamas of all teams. And then Weibo with a really, really weird series. I don't know how much of the series from last night you ended up catching.
Yeah, not a ton. I mean, Weibo have been so strange in split number 3. It's like hard to get a bunch of optimism on them, because like obviously they had like the roster jumble mid-split, and like that hasn't been working out. I don't know. This team just to me seems so like they just seem done, honestly. I think that would probably be the best word to describe it. They just seem over this shit at this point.
Yeah, it's been really tough. Like game 3, they pull out this Rumble pick for Xiaohu, and he gets like almost a double kill in mid lane because Wei and Rookie tried to gank him and they mess up the turret aggro. Like Rookie flashes back out of turret range, and Wei like stops moving and takes the wrong path. Instead of leaving through the mid lane or going through Raptors, he tries to go back through the mid lane to get out and dies. And it was honestly a very scrappy series. We actually ended up getting to see Jachi pick up not only player of the game, but a player of the series, which I tallied up. He hasn't gotten a player of the game since I think April, which I thought was like, oh. Yeah, he hasn't got one until it was a single game win versus BLG in Split 2, and then that was it. And I was like, oh, yeah, that tracks. That IG team was pretty bad, and the people who were picking up MVPs were mostly Wei and Rookie. So, I guess not Rookie, considering it was Renard and eventually I'm not surprised that they didn't make it. But I was really, really excited about the potential of them doing it, because they not only needed to win last night, they would have had to 2-0 their series against LNG, which probably is very highly likely. And then they would have had a tiebreaker best of 3 at the end of the season to play against Invictus Gaming for the slot. That would have been too much fun. We're not going to have that anymore. Goodbye, Xiao. It's the first time he's missed playoffs in 6 years, which is crazy to think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, Xiaohu this year has been, I mean, even in split number 1, where I think people were probably, like, on average the highest opinion-wise on Weibo, I just never really felt like he had, like, good looks this year, honestly. Like, it's felt like a really dry year from Xiaohu, which is obviously, just given the pedigree of this player, like, really, really disappointing to see and a little bit sad, but that's just kind of how it works, you know, as the years go by. I kind of have an interesting question for you, though, Alk, about, because now NIP and IG are basically the ones locked in to be playing for the play-ins from Group Nirvana. I mean, what do you, like, think about, because I know a bunch of people, when it comes to IG, like, compliments to the Shy, compliments to Awesome, compliments to those players, like, in particular. But, like, what are your thoughts on, like, Rookie and Wei specifically this split? Because I feel like NIP, in terms of, like, a mid-jungle duo, might legitimately be better, which is crazy to say because Wei was the lifeblood of this team for so long, and I just feel like this is the quietest he's been all year. Do you think that necessarily means, like, he's worse than, like, Guwon, for example? Or, like, if he were to go against some of the Ascend junglers, like, how do you think he would stack up?
So I think IG is a team that unfortunately tend to play at the same level or maybe a little bit below of the competition that they're facing against. So we saw a portion of this team play against some of the better teams in Ascend, and that didn't go very well for them. We saw a portion of this same roster play against Ascend teams last year, and they were really, really good. We came into Split 3 playoffs thinking that Invictus Gaming was seriously the second best team in the tournament. And then they got BTFO'd by BLG in, I think, the quarterfinals, and they lost their mojo, and they completely lost everything. I think that the Shy so far has been really, really worrisome. Like, his lane is 50-50, and he's a decent team fighter, but I think that the competition around him hasn't been that great. And Ricky and Wei's been all right. I think Rookie has a lot of rust. Just not playing for a full split.
He's really mid, pun intended.
He's
obviously
extremely mid, and potentially, like, it's him and Xiaohu who are fighting for third best mid laner, and I think that Xiaohu has, I think, been more instrumental to Weibo's wins than Rookie has. So
that's fair.
I think if IG, obviously if they don't make play-ins, they're not going to make Worlds, but I think it's highly likely that if they finish as the second seed, they are probably going to have a very tight best of 5 in the play-ins, playing against what looks to be Thunder Talk Gaming, which is going to be an awesome rematch. That if Thunder Talk beat them in 2 best of 5s, then squarely they're just the GOATs. Like, there's just no way around it at that point.
I mean, and honestly, like, to talk about TT for a little bit, this is just, like, I don't want to say that I'm disappointed with what we have seen from them this split, because, frankly, going into split number 3, I did not think LGD, Thunder Talk, or EDG were going to make a massive splash. I figured the top 4 was going to remain the same, basically no matter what, which is why I was saying the WE thing was so endearing to me, because they could actually push that narrative that I had in my head away. But, like, for me, these are about where I expected the teams to be going into the split. But then Thunder Talk gave me a lot of hope that they could actually maybe be like a WE-esque team and just upset some of the top teams, because they took a game off BLG, they took a game off Top Esports. They, like, set themselves up as, like, something to really be excited about, like a dark horse team that was finding their mojo, and once they did, they would be a legitimate contender. And I feel like they've gone backwards. So it kind of is on me for getting excited, right? But I also just feel a little bit sad, because this feels like a squad that have improved so much over the course of where they started. Like, this team, like, Ryan 3 was not the only bad player on this team in split number 1, everybody.
But he was pretty bad.
He was pretty bad. But they were all awful, like, with a capital A and underlined in bold and italicized. They were all trash. So like to see them go from that to this, like I wanted to see that come in the results, but it just doesn't feel like it has, which is a little bit sad for me personally.
This Thunder Talk team, can you guess how many series they won
Over the course of the year?
over the course of this year? Without cheating. Don't cheat. Don't cheat.
No, so I know they've won. I know they've won 3.
Yeah.
In this split.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say they won. So there were 2 more teams in so there were 6 teams in Nirvana, and it was a double round robin, which means they played 5, so 10 series.
6.
I want to say they won.
They played 6 series. You're right. They played 5 series in Nirvana.
Yeah. So I want to say. I mean, surely they won 3 of those. So 3 here, 3 last split, and I'm pretty freaking certain they won 0 in the regular split for split 1. So if we're talking strictly regular season, they've won 6.
I'm not. No. All year.
Okay. Then they won the one against IG, so they've won 7.
Yeah. They've won 7 series all year.
Okay, let's go.
6 of them are best of 3s. One of them's a best of 5, obviously.
Yep.
It sucks. I am going to be less negative on this team just because it's so many rookies. Because they have rookie solo laners, and particularly, like, top hasn't been as impactful as a role as we've seen just generally in competitive, even if we have some of the most elite top laners playing at a really high level. But mid lane is not a position that you can very easily slot in rookie players. And so Harrow hasn't been good. Last year we had Satab, and Satab was not very good. It's tough to just plug players in and have them succeed. And I think the fact that this team is 3-8, it to me is impressive. Like they beat EDG, they beat an LGD, which is competition that is going to be close with them. They beat WE, which I think is even more impressive considering it's a team that I think matches their strengths a lot, where bot lane is kind of like a fun 2v2, but generally I would say we would give that to WE. And they're like a jungle-led team, so Junhao versus Monkey, the fact that they won that series I think is really good. And the fact that they are taking games off of our top 4 teams, to me, I would consider that a success. I think the fact that they've made playoffs at least once and potentially twice here for the org has to be a good sign. Like,
that's a win.
We're trending up. That's a win for us. So
right, I agree, and it could get better. Like I looking at their next series, just in week number 5, like they're going against a slumping JDG, right? That isn't doing very well. They are going against LGD, which. Yeah, LGD did just get a pretty massive upset, but I still feel like there is a close series to be had here. And then an EDG, which...
That's the free win of the split, baby! That's the free win of the split!
Free damn candy. So, like, in my opinion, there is a legitimate chance that they win at least 2 of these 3 series. I'm gonna, be a little bit optimistic here. Which would be great. Like 5 series wins is still nothing to be ashamed of, especially for an org that, to put it bluntly, has never really done well in the LPL.
No.
So yeah, I just wonder that my question would be like, it pertains more to the off season. Like, yes, you have rookie solo laners. Yes, I think they had a very up and down year. Do you legitimately keep those players, or do you try to find something better as Thunder Talk? Because I feel like TT haven't stuck with players year after year. There's been a lot of turnover on this organization.
So they got screwed a little bit, right? Like Hoya, Feather, and 1XN were on the team for like almost 3 years, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And then Beichuan had been a part of this team for a while as well, but he got plucked mid-season for BLG and is now in super contract jail. Mid lane's been rotating for sure. Yeah, that guy's never making it out. He's never gonna play again. I feel so bad for him. I need that brother back in the league like yesterday. They had a core that they were playing with, and then they lost UCal to go over to LCK. They played with a rookie Korean mid laner, that didn't really work out. They did the same thing with Haru. I think you could probably keep 4/5 of this roster and just get a new mid laner and try it and run it back.
You think Haru is the worst solo laner on this team?
I think Haru has not shown me any upside, whereas I think K-Man might disagree that like Keshi is a very, or he might agree that he's a risky player, but I think the upside of a player like Keshi is there. He just needs, I would be willing to give more games to him where I don't feel the same for Haru.
Yeah, I mean, I forget who it was. It was like a former LCK player. I forget if it was like Cloud Templar or something. He was like, yeah, he like ranked the hardest positions to get into tier 1 competition for.
It's definitely top lane.
He said mid, like unironically for LCK. Because, I mean, you're competing with Faker, Chovy, Zeka, right? Like all of these greats. Yeah. Showmaker, right? BDD, like that's half the fucking teams. And those are half the mid laners. And they're legends. And I feel like the LPL, maybe not to the same, definitely not to the same degree. But it's not. Right, to like I would say to an understandable level, I just feel like mid lane is inherently such a hard role to get into in any league. Just like inherently, because most of the best players, most of the most recognizable players are in that role. So like those spots are locked down more than other ones, and you're never going to be getting a position over like Xiaohu, Knight, Shanks, Cream. Like they're never going to take a chance on you over those players. So I just feel like Haru and all the mid laners that are rookies in the LPL, like it's going to be a tough battle. So this isn't necessarily to say Thunder Talk should keep Haru, but I do hope Haru finds opportunities because like
dude,
I feel
there's so much hate, man. Every time I watch Nia play, I'm getting people who are like, this guy should have never played another LPL game. I'm like, bro, he got to play
Nia,
on
I might not
bad
extend this courtesy to. He
got to play on bad teams though, right? How many bad players? Okay, let's take it like this then. Let's move again. Like I'll move it to another player.
Sure.
If you told me this year that Hoya was potentially a top 5 top laner, I would have banned you from the server. Like, he was perennially one of the worst players in the league, and then he comes in and he's smurfing. Like,
I mean, apparently at the start of the year was not very good.
But they got better.
They picked it up,
right?
They picked it up.
Yeah. And Hoya generally looks like a good top laner, right? And it depends on what team you're on. Like, Tongyuan, perfect example. Tongyuan was on a bottom-feeding RNG lineup. Care was on a bottom-feeding FPX lineup for most of his career, and now is, I think, especially for Care, the best mid laner in this group.
I agree.
And we saw how they played against in Ascend. They had a one unlucky best of 5. Tongyuan is coming in, I think, has a very legitimate chance at looking at like a 3rd-team All-Pro in mid lane for Ascend. So, like, who's to say that this like players like Haru might, or Nia might not find success on another team. Might, if we put him on a better team, if we put better pieces around him. I think that there's more there. I would be willing to at least give him like another split, give him like, put him in like a functioning team, because that IG team was just not doing anything last split. And
that IG
this LNG team is cursed.
Yeah. God, this LNG, I don't even want to get into it, honestly.
They're 0-5. They went 1-10. They had the 800. I forgot to put this on the podcast, bro. The Belveth game was actually a legitimate misery to watch.
Yeah, I think the Belveth game, I was talking to the... So, okay. Quaxlore. My dad used to play League of Legends. He still watches League from time to time. Like, he knows how the game works at, like, a pretty high level. He loves pro play. I called him this morning, actually, as we're recording this, and I told him about the Belveth game. I was like, all right, so Belveth just got reworked. She's like more of a late game scaler now instead of this early game cheese champion with bullshit. And we saw her for the first time, I think, this year, and the player that played her built Kraken Slayer into Heartsteel. He's like, don't you mean Heartsteel into Kraken Slayer? Nope. And he's like, why did he not build the stacking item first? I have no idea. He did 2% of his team's damage. And my dad just started laughing. So that might be one of the worst games I've ever seen in my entire life.
He didn't do anything. He didn't contest Raptors.
No.
We did not play around any of these timers. This is wonderful scaling. This is for folks who may have missed this game. Oh my god.
So I don't know how familiar our audience. I mean, surely they're familiar. So there was a Reddit post a couple of days ago about how Tyler won. So he's been doing this thing where when ranked fives are open on the weekends, he plays with like other streamers. He played with Kadeem on his team like last weekend, and Kadeem
the GOAT.
did on Riven, by the way, did 500 damage in a 30-minute game, and Tyler was like, yo, those numbers are crazy, Kadeem. And everyone was like, oh my god, this is so funny. Kadeem is like the streamer that you watch when you want to see bad gameplay. He did 300 less damage than an LPL pro player!
Wait, hold up now. Kadeem has one of the sickest flashes of all time.
That is true. The Camille ultimate is
the Camille ult flash was sexy, okay?
Yep.
I'm allowed, okay?
Well, okay, Weiwei has a grand finals appearance, though. So...
Did he win the grand finals?
No, he got 0-3'd in, like, the most unrealistic... the most unsatisfactory fashion ever.
Yeah, exactly.
That was bad. I mean...
This is a 24-minute game, and Heartsteel was done at 21 minutes.
Yeah, this is, like... This is bad. Like, this is
terrible.
This is horrible.
This is terrible. Dude, I felt so good, by the way. Gordo was on this cast. I felt so vindicated. We're in the story meeting, and Gordo is like, you know, maybe 1xN is the problem. You know, he keeps having these teams where he's like, you know, supposed to be the carry, and eventually, look, when you're supposed to be, you know, the top guy on the team, you're supposed to carry the games, you know? Like, where are some of those carry performances? He did 50% of his team's damage!
Yeah.
Like, come on!
Yeah, all right. I like, honestly, I
felt the plot armor immediately suit up. I was like, immediately, that's 1 year's worth of 1xN cope we can have.
Yeah, you know, Initialize, Slayer, and Yanni are going to be using this as, like, evidence stored in a vault for the next 365 days. Yeah, I mean... It's tough. I mean, so literally, fun fact, I was supposed to cast the series after this, guys.
Yes.
Alk generously stepped in for me, but I came back as this series was basically ending, or like this game was essentially ending. I came back, I had thrown up, like I was sick, I had food poisoning. I came back, and the first thing I said was like, I threw up, and Dimitri over here legitimately thought I was joking because of this build and this performance. I was serious. I was dead ass. But he thought it was because of the build. And honestly, I can't blame him. Like, this is so bad. We've spent like 5 minutes ripping on this one thing, but like we're color casters, so like this is it's like about twice as painful for us as like your average play-by-play.
Yeah, and obviously Quax is a jungle player, but legitimately, Quax had been gone for 15 minutes, and I just thought, oh, he's getting dressed, he's doing his thing before the show.
I was in my suit. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, exactly. I figured he was just around his house, and he was just going to show up closer to when the game end. I was like, yeah, whatever. And the first thing I do here is, hey, man, I just threw up. I'm like, yeah, you know, maybe he's just joking, and like, yeah, I would too after watching his Belmed game. I kept saying it.
I like kept repeating it.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm actually sick, and then like I was hearing his voice, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, you're not joking. Okay, yeah, go. Like, I'm not gonna make you cast, obviously, and you're like, I've got to go. So I was like, yeah, I'll cast the next series. But
yeah,
it was a very disgusting series, just in general to watch. I was going to be upset that NIP lost the game, but then I watched this game, and I'm like, man, I don't know what's worse, like the 800 damage or the fact that NIP lost to this kind of team. Anyway, we're going to move on. The real segment, and I want to get through this quickly because we've spent a lot of time on this graphic now. There are 4 teams left that can clinch one spot, which is that 7th place spot. EDG are firmly now in 8th. Even if they win their next 3 series, they can't make up a -20 game differential. Producer Ilya finds that really funny. I also find that really funny.
I mean, I'm smiling.
Which team is the play-ins team? Which is the last play-ins team here? I think the easy answer is TT, but that's another
cook?
story. I'll let you I'll let you hit this one first, and then I'll come in with the cook.
Unironically, the funniest timeline would be if JDG are the last team in this position. Unironically, yes. that would be so funny. I don't think that would be the best outcome because, like, I actually kind of like this team, but I think in a realistic world, it's probably Thunder Talk. But if JDG lose to Thunder Talk, I will legitimately think it is actually JDG that are going
playable.
to end up 7th. Yeah,
Look,
if that actually is the case, then it might be Brover.
If you are going off of just trends, you're realizing like how far can this go. Thunder Talk are the heaviest slate to get in as the 7th seed, and LGD just had a miraculous week. If you're an LGD fan, you're over the moon. You took a 2-0 over Top Esports and EDG, and you took a really, really good series versus JDG, who, if you missed out, played their new jungler in Xiaofeng for the 3rd game. Not that I really think that game was his fault. That draft was straight up terrible. They saw Silas, and they picked Alistar Nar into the draft. And then they already had a Twisted
final
Fate.
Game yet, so you're telling me this for the first time.
Yeah. Imagine on 4, and this is first pick 4. This is not counter pick 4. So first pick 4, it's Silas. Right. They already have on JDG side Twisted Fate, Varus, and then random jungler. Doesn't matter in the context of this draft. So Silas now gets access to Twisted Fate and Varus ult, which is already pretty good, but you can mitigate that. 4-5 from JDG is Nar Alistar. What are we doing here?
Yeah,
what are we doing on this earth?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, like, Nar is a little bit... Nar, I guess I can kind of, sort of, maybe forgive, but Alistar...
Nar ultimate for Silas?
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, but...
It's horrible!
I guess... I mean, there's like a... I don't know what the term is, but there's a term in psychology where if you, like, overshoot for something... Like, if you tell your mom, hey, I want $3,000, and she's like, no.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, I want $2,000. She's more likely to say yes, even though it's still an absurd ask, because the previous one was just as insane. I feel like this is a case of that probably being how it works, because, like, yeah, Nar Ultimate is bad, but Nar Ultimate is fucking nothing compared to
It's not
Alistar
negotiation.
Ultimate.
This is real. What Quax is saying is real.
Yeah.
I also don't know what the actual term for this is.
I took AP psychology. I learned that this is one of the few things I've retained from the class. Okay?
It is true, though. It is true.
It's a thing.
It's
a thing.
This is a thing. I can back him up on this, even though if I can't come up with a name. Speaking of moms giving us money, my mom probably is not going to give me $3,000 or $2,000 like that, but she does donate money to the LPL, and that's why she's a Elite Coffee supporter. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom. Shout out to Coffee, ! Coffee, or just go to LPL English on Coffee. It's the best way to support the show. All right, I'm done with the ad read.
You don't know the whole
This is the play-by-play's job. Play-by-play
Lightning
reads the ad
speed.
read.
We don't have a play-by-play.
I sit there while the graphic is on the screen and twiddle my thumbs and wait for the play-by-play to toss it back to me. I think it would be really funny if LGD go from having an amazing week to just losing all their games, or losing to BLG and Thunder Talk and getting in as the 7th seed. Because then I think our playoffs are really, really exciting. Because IG versus LGD, that sounds like a banger to me. EDG versus NIP, it would be the funniest thing if EDG suck all split long, and then another clutch best of 5 versus Ninjas and Pajamas to clutch it out. That would be legendary.
Yeah, that would get me kind of upset because, listen, okay, I hate to be that guy, but, like, EDG are basically cosplaying WE from Split 2, right? Like, this is not, like, I feel like this is a fine comparison.
Did you find it,
They
producer
do-
Ilya? Oh, no.
Framing.
He got excited. Continue.
No.
It's framing?
Yeah.
Legend.
They do not, there we go, yeah. They do not contain even half the aura that Split 2 WE had. Like, I had Hopium Core, like, in bulk for WE in Split 2. I have none of that for EDG in Split 3. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I have a vendetta against Leave, but oh boy.
Maybe.
I'm not a big fan of this EDG squad. And I do like the NIP squad. So I would hope that NIP or IG teams I both actually really like do win that series. I'm just going to like put it out here now because I can't be biased on the cast, guys. And we're not on the cast.
All right. Let's move on. Again, if you want to check out our plans, we're going to be covering every part of the LPL, obviously, for playoffs and stuff. And if you don't know, bottom 6 or bottom 2 versus top 2, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a single. It's true. I mean, low-key, he didn't believe it. So I'm
Wait, what?
you were like, negotiation? Get in there. Producer Elia, is your mic even coming through?
Yeah, I can make
There
my
you go.
mic
Okay,
come
okay.
through. No,
Get it
I
out.
believed it. I was just trying to get the full term because just saying framing didn't sound right.
That is true.
And I also did
That's
take
fair.
psychology. I almost majored in neuroscience.
I was gonna say, how did you? I was kind of surprised that you didn't immediately know what it was because you have a much deeper.
'Cause I didn't
Lexile of
study
psychological
the
terms.
Social psychology side of things. I was in clinical and neuroscience.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That is low key. Neuroscience, I know very little about.
Yeah, that makes my
you know.
communication, creative writing double major look like shit.
It's okay. We all chose the
You know what?
the
For a
zero
second,
income
that's okay.
majors.
Despite almost going into that major, I majored in theater.
Yeah, we chose the no money majors. This is the no money
Theater,
majors
and I
podcast.
almost minored in creative writing.
Well, now communications can do a little bit, you know. Let's see.
Communications
I'm not done
is
yet.
like the.
I'm not done yet.
the-
I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay, but
It's like the
communications
broad-
major is the new like undetermined or undecided.
Hello.
We got Quax back.
Sorry.
Quick jump cut for people. That's okay. Leaguepedia is too strong. We're gonna move on to our next segment, which we're gonna talk about MVP. There are a couple of outside people or outside chances here. Oh, I think I messed around with some of the animations. I kept misclicking. I don't know why. Some people might choose some players that are not on this graphic, which if you can't see it, it is Tarzan versus Knight. You can join the LPL English Discord. We are currently running the All-Pro ballot for our community as well. So if you get in there and you check the announcements tab, you will see a link to the ballot. You can submit one. We'll tally up all your votes and you'll count as one whole ballot, which will be very fun. We show it on the broadcast and we do it on socials, but it is Knight versus Tarzan. I think this has been the battle, not just this year, but even last year when we had AL as a top 2 team in the league.
Yeah.
In the league, Tarzan versus Knight, but Tarzan's team was not as good as Knight's was, and that has, I think, been true for most of Knight's career.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna spoil who I voted for. I'm gonna wait until it's all out there. But I will also say I think like few options would be like unironic, like outside of Tarzan and Knight would be the 80 carries for both of these teams. Like I think that Hope has had a really big glow up in terms of performance. Obviously, I think this meta really favors a player like Hope, where you aren't really playing toward bot side. You're kind of just roaming on Camille level 2 and then coming back when it's convenient for you as a support to play for them. And Viper has been doing amazing on the mages, right? Which have really come to be flavorful.
He's been smurfing on 80 carries. Okay, I feel
has
like
been.
I know where you and Mark had the same opinion, and I challenged him on the show. So this is again going back to ALTT. He was like, man, we're looking at this meta where it's like all mages. I'm like, they haven't played mages in like 3 or 4 series, like outside of Ziggs.
It's been a little
We're gonna
bit.
just we're gonna count Ziggs not including Ziggs because every AD carry plays Ziggs, right? Like that's just kind of like the free one that you
Right,
get,
but like
the
your
free space on the
Cassiopeias,
pickup.
your Akali's, your
Yeah,
Sylas's.
a Cassio,
Xerath.
a Victor, a Xerath, these kinds of things. We saw at the beginning of the split, but mostly split in week 4 and especially parts of week 3 when Riot announced, hey, we're nerfing roaming support to be like less gold, less experience, tying to back to lane. Almost all of our players, all of our teams immediately swap back to playing 2v2 AD carries and playing Ashe, Ezreal, playing things like, obviously Jhin was already like pretty popular. Ezreal was already pretty popular. I think we need to nerf Ezreal already because Ezreal has been the premier AD carry even in the middle of the mage meta. He was the lone marksman that you could play into mages that would go even.
Right.
But we've already moved. We were shifting back into AD carry meta already. With engaged supports coming back, right? Like Rel being super popular, Alistar
and the new
super
patch
popular.
as well is just like.
And then in anticipation of 25-16, which we're gonna play on week 5, everybody's dropped mages. Like no one's playing Xerath anymore.
Right.
The most we're gonna get is like a Syndra or a Ziggs, and that's really it.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know why that's going to be the case, they're essentially buffing MR on like every marksman. So they are not going to be as susceptible to taking damage from mages.
It's so fake. It's so fake. That change is so fake in my mind. Like it's for lane, but it doesn't. You can still play mages. I've been on this rant. I've been on this rant. You can still play mages.
They're buffing it by what? Like
I think across the board, every AD is getting around like 6 MR level 1.
That's not like that's not a lot.
No, it's not.
So it's not, but I still think that like pushing, I mean, Riot themselves said like literally on Twitter that they were not happy with the fact that there was a mage takeover in the bot lane. They also said they weren't happy with how support currently was, Camille roaming level 2, so they nerfed her too. So I think we'll probably see Camille support just like completely excommunicated from tier 1 play after these nerfs, which my solo queue will thank them.
It's
overall,
3. Sorry, I overstated it. It's 3 MR level 1. It's 3 MR level 1, and you get less per level to try to like balance it out, so you're at the same breakpoints for most of the game. Yeah.
Okay, then I feel like that doesn't do anything because mages aren't supposed to deal damage to you early anyway. So if you're gaining less per level, doesn't that just mean the scaling inherently of a mage is going to hurt you more? Am I wrong?
I think the breakpoint is so you're losing 0.2 MR per level. Like that is going to materialize every 5. Like realistically, it's going to materialize every 5 levels. But that doesn't. Again, I don't think it changes anything. No. We got sidetracked about this bot lane stuff. Moving back. You were talking about Tarzan, and you were talking about stuff around with AL.
Right. I feel like Tarzan, like, for me, I feel that a reason to vote for this player, I'm going to give one for both, for him and Knight. Like, for me, the reason you would vote for Tarzan is because AL went through a roster rebuild in split number 3. Well, not like a rebuild, but they had a reconstruction, which was like top lane, right? Where they brought in Breathe, who I think is much more capable when it comes to showing up in the laning phase. Like, one of my biggest criticisms for Flandre was that we wouldn't really see this guy actually, like, pull up in the first 14 minutes of the game to try and beat you out and hands check you in lane. I feel like Breathe has that capability. And I think that Tarzan, now with more lanes to play for, has really leveled up in terms of his efficiency. So he's constantly impacting all of the lanes. I think that he's also great at reading the enemy jungler. Like, this guy will invade Monkey and Junhao every time he sees them, because he knows, like, hey, this is like the lifeblood of the enemy team. Like, I can't let them have a game where they can just be themselves, because then they'll run rampant. So I think Tarzan's ability to play through all his lanes has increased because of the swap he had in top lane, but then also his just general cerebral gameplay has been like the best I think it's been all year. So if you want a jungler who just like can tell you your future, like he's a fortune teller, I I would say this guy is exactly that. And he tops all the stats for jungle. I feel like this graphic honestly doesn't do him justice. This guy is like, if you go on to GOL, he basically tops the chart in every single capacity when you go to jungle. So I think that he has been just as dominant in his role as Knight has in his role in mid. And for Knight, like, I would say, obviously BLG have been like very back and forth when it comes to, well, you know, they've been on more shaky ground in split 3 because of the whole Wembo situation. And Knight is just continuing to dominate everybody. So like, you already know why you should vote for Knight if you're deciding to. I mean, it's fucking Knight. What are you reading? You sound very.
Dude, I just got flashbang. Hayden Panettiere died yesterday. Holy crap! What? The goat? The goat? That's crazy. Yeah. That is nuts. Rest in peace. Okay. My argument for this MVP race is that this is the quintessential argument of every single MVP vote ever. Is MVP the most valuable player to their team, as in, if you were to take this player out of this team, or if you looked strictly at the amount of wins that this player adds to their team, are they the person that is the best in this category? Or is MVP a vote for who is the best player in the league? People will vote very differently all the time. Some people think MVP is, are you the most valuable player on your team in the league in comparison to the rest of the league? Some people are just going to strictly vote who is the best player in the LPL. For a long time, I would say that Knight has both been the most valuable player, or one of top 3 most valuable players in his teams, and been the best player in the league, especially the last like 3 years. I think this split, I don't know if he is the best player in the league. I think Tarzan has an argument to be the best player in the league. I thought last year in 2020, or in split 2 and split 3, there was an argument for Tarzan to be the best player in the league, but Knight was by and far away the best mid laner of the tournament, and mid just has higher impact in almost every competitive game. Tarzan has been overall, I think, a lot cleaner in most of his games. Does he have some games where he runs it down, like on the Skarner game? Sure. Knight had a really sloppy lock game.
Knight has had a
WWE.
few really bad games. Like, even the Lissandra game that he played,
He had a Cassio game where he got
Yeah.
that Cassio game, he got ran down. He had 3 people in his lane, and he had 3 deaths in the first 8 minutes, 8 to 15. That was crazy. So
yeah, he's had some stinkers. Like,
Yeah.
Knight and Split 2 was literally immortal. So I feel like it was just like a bit of a drop off. And I feel like people are going to inevitably give Knight some grace because, oh, Wembo isn't really the same caliber of player as like a Bin or like just straight up the rest of the BLG team. Like, I don't think he can really compete. So maybe your thing is like Knight was working in less polished circumstances than Tarzan, who has been with most of his teammates the entire time, and like Breathe is still a really good player.
But his teammates are much worse. I would say pound for pound, Tarzan's teammates are worse than BLG's.
Yes, absolutely. So like for me, I honestly feel like the argument of like what you were saying, where if this player was removed from the team, this team would not look the same. Like, that probably increased for Knight this split because he didn't have like a Bin to bounce off of. I felt like Viper stepped up too, but like I felt Shun wasn't as strong this split. I felt On wasn't as strong this split. They were still like top 2 in their role, but I do think if I'm looking at their levels individually, I felt that Knight, because of no Bin and because I think Shun and On were just slightly worse than they were last split, like I would honestly say his stocks in terms of like this guy being super crucial to the team specifically probably went up, even if he did have worse games. But if you're talking best player in the league, I do think Tarzan takes that.
Yeah. The other 2 people that I could see votes taking away from them, Jackie Love is always going to receive votes, even if I think his laning has been particularly poor.
He dies
majority
every lane
of his
phase.
Almost every lane he dies in the first like 5 to 6 minutes of the game, but he has, I think the last time I checked, which is about 2 hours ago, in all of tier 1, he has the second highest DPM of any player in the world, which is crazy. So you can make that argument that he's doing a lot.
Who the hell is number 1?
Pretty sure it's Jachi, because Jachi has only played like 2 games. He played 3
so
games.
it doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly.
He's number 1. I
Exactly.
don't count that shit.
It's every
Yeah.
time I go to GOL and I look at stats, I'm like, cool. Group Nirvana players are the highest in the league because they played like 5 games versus 15. I like the sample size isn't there. So technically, right now in summer, JackieLove has the highest DPM of any player in tier 1. And then, who is the other player that I was thinking about? Viper. Viper, I think this split has been immaculate for the most part. He has some shifty moments, but his marksman play has been incredible. His mage play was already incredible, and the stats are starting to reflect that. The person that actually beats Knight in goal difference at 15 is Viper. He is consistently doing a lot, and I think there's a potential that a lot of people are going to vote for them. So JackieLove's just going to get votes off of popularity. I have a feeling that our community is likely to vote for Knight just because they're going to see Knight, they're going to see whoever's in first place and say, yeah, that guy actually is the MVP. It has to be the MVP. Any last words on this? We're going to have a really fun segment coming up after this.
No, I think that it's going to be a much closer race than it was in Split 1
Yes.
and Split 2, which is very fun to think about because I felt Knight was pretty much unchallenged in Split 2. And Split 1, who won it again? Was it Knight in Split 1 that we voted for
Knight,
MVP? Yeah.
Knight won MVP both splits.
Yeah,
far.
he was pretty much uncontested in that. I think that Tarzan can actually win this, which I think is going to be fun.
He has been robbed so many. There have been many splits where Tarzan could have won MVP, but it got taken away either.
People are saying
JackieLove
Tarzan
won
is
it,
like the best
Knight-
jungler in the world, but his players are not like on the same, like his teammates are not on the same level as like other top junglers. So like
Yep.
Kanavi has, right? And like Shun
Yeah.
has, so interesting
Yeah,
debate
yeah.
there, but that's a lengthy one. So we'll save it for another day.
All right, we got another tier list coming through. Or it's not really a tier list, but something that's a little bit more, free form, and I can't necessarily prepare it as easily. So I want to do an all-pro super team. So we are going to have access to all of the players in the league. Can you scroll up a little bit? Or maybe, actually, why was that down there? I forgot. Was that Roth? Who drew that, actually? Which one of you drew that? It's Quax. All right. Awesome. So we're going
What,
to...
me? I did not.
This all-pro team is going to allow... Usually all-pro is separated in between, hey, you have our Ascend all-pro team, and here's our Nirvana all-pro team. We're going to pick... You will have the pool of every player available in the LPL. If they have played more than 2 games in the split this year, they will be eligible for this. So, Quax, who are you electing as your all-pro top laner?
I am going to I'm gonna elect my all pro top laner. Do I want to do peaks or probably for the sake of consistency, which I always value a lot more, I'll probably say Breathe.
Okay. Let me move. I'm gonna move. Hold up. I'm gonna move that down. Give me some space. All right.
Yep. Social
Okay.
distancing.
Yep. All right. Start listing them off. What else do we got here?
All right. I'm gonna hit him with Breathe for top.
Okay.
For jungle, I'm gonna say Tarzan. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like if you say anyone else, you're on something.
I think people can argue for Shun. I think Shun has a very even if he doesn't have as clean of games, I think people could be willing to do it.
Okay.
But-
All right. 10-10. Okay. For mid, I'm gonna say Knight. I
Okay.
feel like these are the two most obvious. So for mid, I'm gonna say Knight because.
I have to pull it up. I don't know why Leaguepedia was slowed
Yeah,
down.
you're good. I mean, I guess I could just give my reasoning. It's just like best player here, or one of the best players here, and I feel like you could say that Shanks is doing a lot better toward the latter half of the split, but just like overall consistent wise, it's not the same. It's not the same. 80 carry, I am. Oh boy. This one's a little tough. Yeah, I'm gonna say 1xn, guys. I am gonna say. Yep. You heard it here first. I am probably gonna go with Viper. I know it's a boring answer, but
You've picked 2 teams out of 4 players. Just letting you know, you've chosen 4 players from 2 teams in total.
All right. Well, you're lucky. My last player is definitely not gonna be from either of these teams.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be the God Gamer himself, the Rammus support connoisseur. Give me Moham. Just kidding. Give me Feng Yue.
Damn it. God damn it. I got scared, bro. I was like,
Give me Feng Yue. Unironically, I had a discussion with this. I had a discussion about this with Mark and Gordo, and we were like, do we think Top Esports won out on the trade between Zhuo and
that was
Feng
a
Yue?
segment on the show last week. Yeah.
Absolutely not. NIP got away with daylight robbery. 100%. This was NIP winning out on the trade. And
then they got Photic. And it was like, okay.
Yeah,
well,
you know, it is what it is.
Happens.
Feng Yue absolutely has been smurfing at this split. He is 100% my pick. He belongs in Ascend. He's probably, if nobody else that I liked was on NIP, if it was just Feng Yue, I would say I want this guy. I want NIP in Ascend. But I do like every other player in NIP, so I just want them to promote.
Okay. All right. In my heart, I would want Zwayon to be my all-pro top laner. However, I'm going to do something that I have not felt in a long time. My all-pro top laner is going to be Mr. Hoya. He's been Mr. Consistent.
Respectable. Honestly, I was going to choose him. There was part of me that wanted to choose him, but I just felt like Breathe has had higher highs.
He's been Mr. Consistent in top lane this split and last split. He has the funky counter picks, which work. Some of them don't, like the Lee. He didn't play the Lee Sin, that was Swayon. But he's had the cool stuff. He plays the Anivia. He plays the Marksman. He plays all of the things that you need out of top lane right now. I just think that Hoya has been one of the best top laners in the split. It's even amazing. Looking... And he is also playing against weaker talent, so if people want to, Pepe laugh at me for putting this, I don't care. I think he's been really, really good. Just going to real quick copy that one, and we're just going to move Tarzan there. I'm going to make this really easy. I'm also going to take Knight, because why not? I'm glad producer Ilya is having fun and drawing on them. See, this is why this program.
Okay, but why do we have the same designs on them for do something
because
different
it's the same
for
player.
Knight. Yeah, but do something different.
He's a tiger. Oh, sure. Well, no, he's a panda, honey. Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure they actually have Viper's a snake. Literally, Viper's the Viper's animal is that. I'm pretty sure On is a mouse, and Knight is usually depicted as a cat. That is true. I spend way too much time on online. My 80 carry, I will be picking Viper though. I think Viper's been way too good.
Yeah.
And then
he's had
support.
such a glow up this split too.
What did you do to my Tarzan? Okay, continue. Sorry.
He's had such a I say this about Hope a lot. When AL are doing bad, you know that like one meme of like the soldier like outstretching his arms to like shield bullets from like that is Hope to everyone else on AL when they're doing bad. Regardless of if it's warranted or not, people will shit on Hope. I feel like they have been doing that with Viper. Like that is the exact same photo that you can use for Viper whenever BLG have had their struggles this year. Viper, I feel, is oftentimes the guy that people target, and it's been amazing to see that he's probably the second best or potentially even the best player on the squad.
Yeah. Now, I really want to pick Fengyue. The issue I have with Fengyue's game is that on engaged supports, he looks great. On enchanters, he has this issue where he is too overextended for vision, and he dies a lot out of position with his team. His Karma games, his Seraphine games, all of them have this hallmark where he is moving forward for vision, and either his team is not backing him up or he's just never allowed to be there, and so he dies. And even when we're not talking about vision, when he is just out on the map, I think the way he moves when he's playing enchanters is just worse. So I'm glad that he's going to be able to play engaged champions. I think that much better elite level teams are going to punish that. They're going to do review. They're going to see where he's moving, how he's moving, and they're just going to snap his head off and kill him. So for that reason, I personally can't put him. But I would put him at second, if anything.
I would also say that On is probably the best Camille player that we have in the LPL currently. Like this guy,
I think he's the best Camille. I think he's the best Shen player. I think he has so many different things up his sleeve. If this guy wasn't a support player, he would be a freak in other lanes.
Yeah, like he's like 5-2 on the pick. I think he's. Yeah. I will say I think that everyone has had this like moment with Camille where they just get caught out for no reason because they have no idea what they're doing in mid to late game. It's like it's a trademark. Yeah. And On is no exception, but I do feel like he really maximizes the amount of damage input you can pull out on this character in the first 10 minutes of the game because it's quite frankly absurd. It's pretty disgusting, and I feel like he is probably the best at doing it.
He is super good. On is having a great year. Is there an honorable mention that you would like to put on your list?
For any role.
Any role can be the sixth man on the super team.
I would honestly say that I would give it to Hope. Like, I think Hope has been doing so good this split. Maybe I'm glazing the wrong player.
I think you are low-key glazing Hope a little too much. I think he's going to run it. I think he does not have the clutch factor, but who knows?
He definitely doesn't have the clutch factor, but like in terms of what the team needs, he has been delivering a lot this split. Like they just say, Hope, we're going to abandon you like a dog on the side of the road, and you're going to love it.
We can't call him a dog, man.
All right. We're going to abandon you. We're going to abandon you like a fella on the side of the road, and you're going to love it. And he's like, okie dokie. And he does good anyway. So I don't know. I feel like he has been performing a lot better this split, and I feel like the meta plays to his strengths personally.
Okay. Quax, you're gonna help me decide. Is my honorable mention for the memes, or is it like, are we like serious?
I kind of did mine like seriously, so I feel like it's up to you. Do you want to be the unserious, like I'm like bad cop, you're like good cop, like you're choosing something different, or do you want to be like me?
We're gonna be unserious.
We're gonna be unserious. All right. Yeah. Oh, low key.
I think Monkey has one of the highest upside, but he sometimes, love him or hate him, that this guy's an inter sometimes.
He has had some. Okay. I think if you threw this out there like a couple weeks ago, I would have been like, this is unironically a good pick. His last couple of weeks have been like pretty bad though. Aragon, I think, put out a tweet like ranking all of the players.
Oh yeah, he is a big Monkey hater, but also Monkey faded his JDG team plenty of times, so
Well, yeah, yes, but I also just generally feel like I am in agreement with him that Monkey has been underperforming over the past couple of weeks. So like that probably puts it more into meme territory, but
It
unironically,
is a
there was
meme.
a point in this split where I would have, if you had said this was a meme, I would have been like, no, this is actually serious. Like this is a legitimate pick.
yeah. The meme is Monkey. If I'm being serious, it's Cream. I think if Cream wasn't playing in a league where Knight is the best player in the league or the best mid laner, then Cream is the best mid laner in this league. He's been performing. His team just really sucks. It's just another TN team where one thing goes wrong and the whole game goes boom. Annie is a rookie top laner, and Jackie Love and Drawer are running it down in the first 10 minutes of the game. So that's it. That's our All Pro Super team. Includes all of our Nirvana and Ascend teams. Let us know who your All Pro Super team is, and let us know if there's anybody that you would put in over, or if maybe I'm crazy, Quax is crazy, or we got it just right. I'm sure there's going to be a lot, at least from my cursory knowledge of Twitch chat, they're going to crucify you for this Hope Glaze in this episode. So, best of luck. Last slide before we kind of head out. We've got our schedule for next week. I do this with everybody who's on the show, and you've got to know this is coming. Imagine there's one fan listening, Quax, and they say, man, I love Quax's analysis. Whatever he says, I'll do. Quax, I only have time to watch one series this week. I'm a busy person. I don't live in a time zone that is conducive to me watching live.
Yep.
Which series am I watching, and why?
Okay. Of all of these, I would watch NIP-IG. I think that NIP and IG is going to be a big momentum swing or a big like morale swing for the team that ends up winning this, because these are probably going to be the teams competing to get into Ascend, but the team that wins it, I think, will have a lot of support and backing behind them and will come in really hot going into that best of 5. So I would say the top 2 teams in Nirvana would probably be the one that I watch personally. Like that is the most exciting series in my opinion.
Some implications for this series, by the way. If Ninjas in Pajamas win a single game, they lock first. IG would have to 2-0 this team to get first place, which is not looking likely considering.
And there is a
IG
significant drop off in your chances to win against EDG and the other team that will be playing off in. Like there's a pretty big gap there, I would say.
Yeah, I would say facing off against EDG versus every other team, highly different in terms of like.
Right.
Yeah. For me, I am just gonna go with.
Did I steal your answer?
No, the easy answer is BLGAL. It's currently our top 2 teams. It is likely going to be the series that decides who ends first, which if you don't know, in our current format, top 2 seeds skip the first round of playoffs. Big boon. You get to watch your opponents that you're going to be playing against. You obviously start in the upper bracket, so it's just one less chance to potentially falter and go down to the lower bracket and have that extra life gone. This is the match that gets us our first 2. The real answer, the real one that everybody needs to keep tuning in, is on that same day, baby. It's the Toilet Bowl. It's LNG versus Weibo Gaming. The 1-4 team versus the 1-5 team. It doesn't matter if LNG 2-0 them because their game differential is -9, but I think this is it. I think this is the series that LNG wins. The last series they play before their year is over, and they completely fade Xiaohu and the boys. Wei Wei gets his revenge for running it down in grand finals of the World Championship, and he clutches up, and he maybe even brings the Belveth back for game 1 or 2.
No,
and they
don't
just
do
smash
that.
them. They smash this team and send them to the Shadow Realm for 2026.
All right, so I paint you a picture to rebuttal this.
Give it to me.
For memes. Yeah, so LNG, they lock in the Belveth. It's time.
Okay.
It's redemption. And LNG, it's 1-1 in the series. It's game 3 time, baby. So they go the Belveth. Oh my God, we're scared. But people are saying this time something feels different about the Belveth. And then, 5th pick,
All right.
Moham hasn't played his champion yet.
No.
We know what's about to come.
No.
We know in our hearts what is about to be locked in.
No.
And all we can say in our heads is, okay. And the Rammus comes through. Belveth gets hard counterpicked because she has attack speed infinitely, despite the rework, and Rammus demolishes that. They have a Poppy in the jungle, and Wei Wei cannot play. He ends up doing 1% of his team's damage, and WBG clutch out the series.
I think the only way this would be more heartbreaking for me watching LNG would be getting to game 3 and Wei Wei actually is like smurfing, and then 1xN like low-key throws the game on a team fight,
Yeah,
and the
1xN
game
runs
ends.
it down.
That would be like he shifts forward and dies instantly to Victor. Just recreate the double
like
edge.
leave physically possesses the man just for like a second. Boom, there it is.
And that's the episode, everybody. That's the 23rd episode of an LPL English podcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Make sure that you're following us on YouTube where you can catch the podcast. And make sure you're following us on Twitter, LPL_English, as well as the Twitch. We're going to be streaming this last week. Real quick, Ilya, can we go back? I realized there is a mistake in the schedule graphic. Leaguepedia is wrong. This schedule is wrong. I don't know why they did this incorrectly, but Wednesday is a 3-series day. Thursday is a 2-series day. Wednesday will be LNG versus Weibo. It will be AL versus Top Esports, and it'll be WE versus EDG. Thursday is Thunder Talk JDG and LGD BLG. So the games are not in the right days, and the sequencing is also just not right. So Wednesday we are going to be starting at 11:30 p.m. PDT. That is when our stream is going to go live. The games obviously start at midnight PDT, and Thursday will be starting. The games will be starting at 2 a.m. PDT. So if you get your news from Leaguepedia, that's wrong. If you get your news from LOL Esports, they've consistently gotten all of our dates wrong, our start times wrong. So stop going there. I can't say that, actually. I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to say that. So please don't, keep going to LOL Esports, just maybe not for LPL schedule. This will be wrong. Please check in on our Twitter. We'll make sure to drop an actual schedule for you guys so you know when and where the games are going to be taking place. Because most people just get it online from an aggregate website. So, all right. Actually, time for me to close out the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Quax, where can people find you this week?
People can find me on the LPL. I will be a part of 2 series. Can I reveal those here?
Go for it, yeah.
Yeah. So I am going to be on BLG Top Esports with Mr. Andrew Grapes Howe. I'm very excited. Producer Ilya will be with us that night, which I'm very excited to be working with him. And then we've got
allegedly. He just gave me the face. That might be a reschedule. Keep going.
Okay. Anyway, Sunday the 23rd, I will be on with Mr. Leo Slayer Silverman. And then Kai will also be on that one, allegedly. So I'm very excited to be doing that as well. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to be on the LPL, and I don't know if you want to check me out on Twitter. I'm on there as well at QuaxCast. So that's where I'll put my opinions on if, in fact, Wei Wei does play the Belveth again in their final match and 1% of his damage, or 1% of his team's damage is done.
Also, maybe a tangent really quickly. Are you streaming our matches tomorrow for low budget LCS?
Oh, what time is that again?
5 p.m. PDT. You're the head coach.
Yeah. I will be there. Yes, you can find me twitch.tv/quax_LOL. I will be yelling at casters who are a part of this program as they play League, draft wrong, which will be on me, but then play it even worse, which will be on them. It's going to be flame everywhere.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week for another episode. We'll be looking at playoffs next week. And remember, we'll be back on Wednesday 12 a.m. Yeah, 12 a.m. PDT. Goodbye.